let's talk about the League Two table. I think it's 3 points separate 7th and 16th. 2 points separate 7th and 15th. Clearly you'll feel like you're in with a chance of making the playoffs, but is the problem probably 10 teams feel like that at the moment?
Lots of teams will feel they've got a chance, and it's I keep going back to things I've said in the past, so sorry if I'm boring people, but it's just these mini runs that teams get on, and you get on them and then you stay on them, and then it's how long you can stay on them to get yourselves into a position. So if you look at Barrow went on an unbelievable good run, got themselves into the automatics, then just dropped off a little bit. Harrogate did an unbelievable run, got themselves in the playoffs, then they've just had a little bit of a stutter, but responded well. Morecambe have been on a cracking run. We had a mini run where I think we won 4 on the spin earlier on the season. And it's as if loads of people want to get in the playoffs, and loads of people want to get promoted, but no one wants to actually do anything about it. So you feel as though it's like a floating ball in between 13th and 10th for us. We just keep floating there no matter what the result is. We've just got to try and get a couple of wins and try and get out of that little vacuum that we're in and try and go up rather than go down.
Your remaining games, I think you play the current top 4 and 5 or 6 of this 10-team group that'll all think they're in playoff contention. On paper, that looks like a difficult run-in. Do you have to look at it as a massive opportunity to take points from those teams who are competing around you?
Of course you do, and we spoke about this, about the points that we've dropped in the last minute of games. So the last kick of the game against Crewe, the last kick of the game against MK, the last kick of the game against Harrogate. Not only are we losing points, we would have been taking big points off them, and that's the thing that you've got to be mindful of. And we just want to get better. In order to win games, you've got to get better. We've got to be offensively better. That's the thing that we will be concentrating on this week.
Is that something that's very much to the fore when you talk about doing damage to other teams as well as taking points yourself? Have you got to go out there and be on the front foot and actually cause them problems rather than...
You have to. Yeah, you have to, particularly at home. You know, your fans expect you to be gung-go. I expect us to be gung-go. Every team I've put out have tried to win the game. I've never been one who does that. So, but it's getting the players on the pitch to do it. And while you can't fault their effort, we just need a little bit more guile, a little bit more quality to be shown on a regular basis, a little bit more intensity in the final third, and you need a little bit of luck. Add all them and you've got a chance.
Is it a simple case? You've got to give yourself the best chance with that luck. The more times you go in the opposition penalty area, the more times you put the ball in.
Buy enough tickets, you got a chance of winning the raffle. Although I used to have a little kid in school when I taught, who used to buy shed loads of tickets and very rarely won. Happily that he did eventually. You just got to believe in yourself, and that's the key thing. If you can believe you've got a chance, and you believe you're going to win, and you've got more than a chance, and you believe in the system that you're playing and your role in the system as a player, then you've got to, and you're prepared to make it work, and you can buy in, and you're having an input into the planning for it as well. There's a chance you can make it work, and it won't be for the ones that trying, but you'll have to. Football, unfortunately, they put an opponent in front of you, which scuppers the deal.
These games against teams around you and above you start this weekend. Crawley will think they're in there. They're one of these teams queuing up behind the playoff places. I think they're on the potential beginnings of a little run. What are your expectations?
Yeah, decent side. I know Scott. Nice lad. Good footballing person. And his team play some attractive football. It'll be a good game. whoever comes to watch the game, it'll be a good game. It'll be two teams who are trying to attack, which will be good.
Just as far as the value of experience is concerned, you're quite philosophical about the way things go, even when you lose games, even when things go against you these days. How much does that help, and how do you transmit that to the players? How do you pass that on to a lot of younger guys who perhaps haven't been in these positions before?
My own experience?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that go on in football. You've generally seen reruns of these games, or games that you play. So there's been nuances of the games. And I think by talking to them and getting to know their problems as well, how they're adapting, what they need to do to get better, going through the clips with them, and they understanding what your expectations of them are. And I think if you speak to quite a few ex-players of ours, one of the things that they always say, and I know Seamus alludes to it, is the expectations of the players are very high. So we want them to believe in themselves, but we expect them to deliver. And I think when players know that you've got high expectations of them, they're more likely to meet them demands rather than if you've got low expectations. And then that comes down to motivation. And I think people respect the fact that you've been doing it for so long, that you've been successful for so long, that you've developed players. People can buy into that, and so they're more prepared to listen to what you say, because in the main they know that you've got it right more than you've got it wrong.
I know you've talked about being energised by this group of young players this season. I know Roy Hodgson stepped down this week and has gone on well into his 70s. I think that makes you the oldest manager in the 92. Can you see yourself still being in management for another decade to come, for example, and going on like Roy Hodgson?
I'd love to. I think the time when I don't enjoy it, I'd quickly walk away, because it's not. I know sometimes I can make it the be all and end all, but there is life beyond football, and I still love it, and I'd love to do that. And glad that you've reminded me I'm the oldest. I hope I don't look the oldest. I certainly don't feel the oldest, and I think it's probably a sad indictment that at 61 I am the oldest. To be honest, I think there's a lot of wealth of knowledge from other people who aren't managing, who possibly could and should be managing. And you always feel as though you can give something to the game. When I feel as though you're getting no added value from me, I think I wouldn't want to be there, and I feel like a fraud. So while you feel as though you can give added value, then you'll embrace the role that you've got, be it manager or be it any other role that you've got.
I know a lot of your former players have gone into coaching and management. There's a team photo in the corridor here in the tunnel, and visiting teams often go through it and go, oh, he's coaching, he's managing, he's coaching, he's managing. How much of that is conscious, should I say? How much of that is you passing stuff on to people and players coming and asking you stuff, or is it just having an influence on them and maybe guiding them down that path implicitly?
I think it's a bit of both, really. I think a lot of players who've played for me and have gone on to management have seen how much I enjoyed it, see how much I've related to the players. I'd like to think they'll have picked up a couple of the traits that are good and eliminated some of the bad traits. Not that I've got any obs. Apart from saying obs. But I'd like to think you're giving people a platform to go on and learn. And I think Accrington Stanley is a good grounding for you as a person, really. For you to live your life, to get on with things, to be able to deal with life's ups and downs. And I think about camaraderie and about man management and leadership. I think, I'd like to think not just myself, but Jimmy and John are good role models in that respect. And a lot of managers that I've seen go through, I've thought, yeah, they are management until when they were players. So, you know, Kuki coming to the end of his career, you'd always know he was going to go into management. And even when he played for us the first season, player coach. But I could see Jed was always destined for management. And, you know, other lads who've gone on to coach, I can see how much they love football. And it's good. And, you know, and I do have some good conversation with them.
To the current dressing room, let's play the Who's Injured This Week game. What's the news?
Seamus Keneally's going to be out. Don't know, he's got an adductor tear, I think. So he's going to be out. Don't know for how long, possibly 4 weeks, 6 weeks. Cody's not far away. Matt Lowe's not a million miles away. He's done remarkably well, Matt. Sean went to see a specialist yesterday, so I'm finding out the results of that day. Hopefully he'll be back in full-time training by today or tomorrow. So that's Sean McConville. Sean Worley possibly a week or two away. I've mentioned Matt Lowe, haven't I? Yeah, so can't see any of the others being back anytime soon.
And I know you laughed when you were asked about appealing Brad Hill's red card. How big a miss is he going to be?
Massive. You know, I still stand by what I said on Saturday. I don't think it's a send-off. But I can see why the referees had a decision to make. And Brad will learn from that, hopefully. And he won't put himself in that position again.